Hey guys, it's me for Vlogging for Health, and I just wanted to talk about my name change and why I've decided to change my name. And when I say name change, I actually haven't changed my name really. I'm just from now on I'm just going to be using my middle names, and I have a reason. I have various reasons why I've decided to just use my middle names. But the number one reason is I, over the years, had a slight identity crisis, I'm not going to lie, in terms of like, where am I actually from? Obviously my parents are from Ghana and all of that, but I was born in England, and when I would go to Ghana, people would say I'm not Ghanaian, I'm a foreigner, because I was born in England. So, and then when I was in England, because I went to a pretty much all-white school, I was also a foreigner because I wasn't white, or I wasn't closer to the European standard of whatever, beauty, or whatever you could say, whatever word you would like to use for that term, you would like to use for that. So I kind of had this identity crisis. I was like, oh, what am I? You know, obviously my parents are from Ghana, I'm Ghanaian, my roots lie in Africa, but yet people over here, in terms of the school that I went to, they said I am not British because I was black. And so I kind of had an identity crisis over the years. The identity crisis kind of trailed off as I grew older, and I found that as I've got older, my confidence and my ability to sort of understand who I am as a person has grown over the years. I went through this phase of being kind of like trying to fit a certain sort of standard or ideology, and I wasn't doing it consciously, I don't think, at that time. It was like a subconscious thing, and as I've looked back over the years, I've realised that I was doing that, even though I didn't mean to, if you know what I mean. You probably think I'm talking nonsense, but I know what I'm trying to say. So my middle name is actually two middle names, Ghanaian middle names, Abna and Poma, and I've decided to use the name as a whole name, so forget having any middle name, so just be Abna Poma. So when I say to myself, when I come on here and say, hi, this is Abna Poma for Vlogging for Health, don't think, actually that's not your name. Well, it is. That's just my middle names. I've decided to use those middle names as my full names, my full name. And I've given you the first part of the reason. I feel like I know myself at the moment better than I did months ago and years ago. And years ago, I was kind of a bit funny about even telling people my Ghanaian middle names. And I feel like I have reached a point in my life where I fully feel comfortable in my own skin, whereas I hadn't been in recent years comfortable in my own skin. So I'm not ashamed to say it, and I think some people are ashamed to say these things because they feel like they're opening themselves up to people and letting people know how they feel, and it's just, you know, it can be like a sign of weakness, but I rather see it as a sign of strength to admit your weaknesses, and to admit that you've managed to overcome those weaknesses by actually looking deep within yourself, meditation, change your diet, trying to think positive. Anyway, over the weekend I went to an event, and the event was basically for a lady called Joy Gardner, who was brutally murdered in 1993 in police custody, basically. Even though she wasn't actually in custody, she was under police custody because she was being deported. And it was like an event to commemorate her death, and and a memorial for her death, and also to talk about the injustice that the police officers that actually were responsible for her death still have not been held accountable for her death. And the reason why I actually went to this event was because the lady in question is actually a relative of my partner. I don't really want to go into that whole situation because it's just a bit too much, but that's the reason why I went. And when I went there, I met a lot of people that had the same views of that I have, and generally because I've been sort of just been in the media, you know, working in the media industry and sort of just, you know, plodding along in life, I kind of hadn't had the opportunity to really speak to people that had the same views that I've had. I'll have those views, I'll tell certain people and they'll go, okay, right, whatever. Like, they didn't understand it, or they didn't identify with what I was trying to say. So I kept a lot of opinions to myself about certain things. And, you know, I met so many people that were born in Jamaica that have African names, and they were Kwame, Equia, Akusia. And I was like, were you born in Ghana? And they're, oh, are you Ghanaian? As in, they said they were Ghanaian descent. So their parents, they know that their great-great-great-great-grandparents were slaves. So they're descendants of slaves. And they know that their actual names should be this, because they were born on a specific day. And so I thought to myself, these people are not even born in Ghana, or they're not even, their parents are not directly from Ghana, in the sense that their parents were not born in Ghana, but yet they're so comfortable within their own skin, they're using their own names. They're using the names that they believe that they should have. So I was thinking to myself, really, shouldn't I be using my ethnic name, as so to speak? That's they would say, ethnic name, the name that I really should have been born with, rather than a name that really isn't directly from my culture. And I'm not trying to be this Afrocentric person, so to speak, because when people use that word, it's like it has these negative attachments to it. And for me, I'm African, so no one can say to me, just because I was born in Britain, that I'm not African. I'm African. That's just the bottom line. So really, I should be using my African name. And, you know, I come across a lot of Bangladeshi people, Indians, Chinese, and they've all used their names that from their culture. They don't use like a British name or like an Irish name or something. They use the name that they were born with, given to them by their parents, because those names had a cultural attachment, if you know what I mean. And so I said to myself, right, you know what, I'm just going to call myself the name that is my middle name that I should have had anyway. So I'm thinking about adding something else to it, because of the fact that it's just two names, and I've always been used to having three names, but I'm not sure what to give myself, because I don't really want to just give myself any random name that doesn't actually make sense. So we'll see. We'll see what I call myself. But generally, my name is Abena Pomai, spelled ABENA POMAAH. There is a bit of a controversy in regards to what the spelling of the Poma part is, because it's either spelled POMAH or POMAAH or POMAA. So I think I'm just going to spell it the way I have had it spelled on my birth certificate, which is POMAH, AAH. Anyway, that's it really. I don't really have any much else to say. It's 8 o'clock in UK time, and I've been on here for 8 minutes. So if you guys have any comments about this, and you sort of want to kind of talk to me about it, or if you've changed your name as well, just let me know. Peace and love.